everybody advocates that your neighbor must be in peace, and only then you will remain in peace. We being a frontier state, it matters more to us.
When I was visiting the constituency, लोग एक ही बात करते थे, बस drugs खत्म कर देना, आपकी government आती है तो.
The biggest problem in Punjab is the children are not here and only the parents are left. The loneliness is going to kill Punjabis.
I was not for too much of profits and all. Praise was my profit I was getting.
The Fauji's have a lot of problems when they come from the army. They have a hesitation not to walk up to the administration because despite the fact that आपका काम पहल के आधार पे करेंगे लेकिन होता नहीं.
We used to get a form filled. I was so disappointed because most of the girls there had written that we do not have money to buy pads.
About Punjabis, it is well known that they eat too much. So people say our elders used to take a lot of ghee. There was no problem. But they don't understand that they were doing hard work. So we are not doing anything.
Whatever you work you start, you have to learn properly. You should only do the work which your passion is. Don't go in for, if you want to become a doctor and you become a baker, you can't do that.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching another edition of ANI Podcast with Smita Prakash. This episode was filmed in Amritsar in Punjab. It's been co-hosted by FICCI Flo Amritsar chapter. I have a panel of 4 distinguished guests from the city. Mrs. Rajni Bector, founder of Cremica Food Industries Limited. Jeevanjyot Kaur, who's also known as Pad Woman of Punjab and is currently MLA from Amritsar East constituency. Apart from that, we also have Dr H P Singh, former medical director of Fortis Escorts Hospital, Amritsar, and Lieutenant Colonel H P Singh retired, who served as General Manager of Punjab State War Heroes Memorial post-retirement. Ma'am, Dr Bector, I'll begin with you first. Because you're the senior most out here, and of course I'm going to begin with the lady. So you're an inspiration for my generation and for the millennials and Gen Z and what have you, not just for women but anybody who wants to script a story, write their own future and not get bogged down by naysayers. Your story, I mean, for the viewers and listeners, आजकल तो सब Google ही करते हैं, so everybody will Google those who don't know about your success story. But of course, people of Punjab know about Cremica, the brand. There is also this thing, ma'am, which I want to ask you about, is that people living abroad tend to think that Indians cut corners in their businesses and they do something called a jugaad. And when they do a jugaad, what you have is the brand coming down and there is no quality in the brand. So that quality consciousness, how did you bring about in the people who work with you and to ensure that you've continued over so many decades?
In fact, when I started working, it was just a passion and just a hobby. I never thought of it that I will to do something business-wise. I was totally zero. Because I just thought of it as a hobby, just a hobby I was doing it. For some years I was just doing it as a hobby, so I never bothered about these things. But I was very particular about the quality product because the quality was the main thing which really mattered to me quite a bit. I was very considerate about all these things. Okay, I have to just see that my product is perfect and it has to be the topmost. That is the main thing which was mattered. And it was with the word of mouth I am here today. And the main thing now, what the question you have asked me is about my ways of working. In our factories all over, I am very concerned. In every section, we have an RD labs, which are every ingredient, whatever comes in the factories, is tested over there. Then only it can enter the factory. So that's how, and all the cleanliness and everything, we don't allow anybody to go here and there. And we are very considerate about our staff. We are really we really take care of them, and we think that they are the main persons who are going to be our main persons who are going to go ahead with us, and they are going to be show us the sincerity, and they know how to do the work. And till today, I have just taught my children about it that they can never compromise on the quality of the products whatever they are making. Because of that, I am supplying to 6 lakh centers. 23 states here and 67 countries in the world. That is the reason why I am doing it, and that's how our product is always on the top. We are just doing it because of that. Because in fact, for our sauce also, if we are thinking our tomatoes were not doing fine, we have already put up a plant in Una, which all the farmers, they supply their tomatoes over there, and then from there, we are all, it's totally done properly, cleaned, then the way the pulp is there, and then we do the sauce. For everything, we are very constrained. Nothing can go into the factory unless it's totally tested everywhere. That is the main thing which really matters in our life, and we have to really work hard for that. For that, you have to, I used to work for 18 hours a day when I was alone. My children were in school when I started in 1978. I was the first lady who started in Punjab working at that time. That was in 78 when the people used to say, oh, she's mad, why she's doing from such a good family, why she is doing it. But just for the heck of it, I just as a passion I did it. And I feel the passion is the main thing which really takes you go ahead in life. And that's how I kept on doing it, that work for some years, and then I started doing other things and all. Right. Because everybody knows about my history, so I don't think I should explain all that about it.
Every time you speak about it, ma'am, it's more and more interesting because new things get unraveled. Another thing, ma'am, which I want to ask you about is, like what you mentioned, that I just had a passion and I like to cook. And we've seen that in many women who like to do something. They might like to paint, they might like to cook, but they get daunted that we don't have a business sense. So many start a bakery or they might start a restaurant, but they get bogged down because they may not be good business people. You need a mind to be, or you need talent to be able to market your product, to be able to sell your product. That's a different expertise altogether. And they may not have the wherewithal to get that expertise. What would you say to such women, or even men for that matter, that if you do want to start, just because you bake doesn't mean that you can do a business. And if you really want to do it, you need that expertise, you need to get that expertise.
Yeah, that is the main thing which really matters quite a bit. Now the time has come for the professionalism. That is the main thing. And whatever work you start, you have to learn properly. You should only do the work which your passion is. Don't go in for, if you want to become a doctor and you become a baker, you can't do that. That is not possible, because that is the thing, whatever you like, you should go in for that. And then you need professionals for that. Because I also felt that when I started, I was working for some years, and then I went into biscuit after 8-10 years, because that was the way I was handling my business myself. Because I was, frankly telling you, I was not for too much of profits and all. I just wanted to give people what I knew. That was my passion. Because I never needed money, to be very frank about it. I just want to be very clear about it. Okay, that was the main thing. I wanted to be the best of the things. And I just want, the praise was you can say, okay, that was the profit I was getting. So it was the word of mouth. Today, everything is there in you have contacts, you can do whatever advertisements you can do. In our times, it was not possible. Then the time came, I needed professionals for that. And you need professionals who can take care of your stuff and do things. If any business you do, whatever you do, I'll tell all the girls, all the boys, all over sitting here, you have to do it with a passion, with proper, you can say, with too much going into the business properly. You must learn everything, and you must look after your staff properly. You must take care of your staff and do work with them. And then only you will be able to do something great in life, and you can go ahead in life. Unless you don't know what the business is and how you are going to go ahead with it, you cannot go ahead. That is the main thing. And every day is a learning day. Every day is a learning day, and for a learning day, you are never perfect in life. Nobody is perfect in life. And for perfection, you have to go ahead. If you are not perfect and you are going to say, nahi, mere ko idhar se thode se paise bach rahe hain, let me do this way, that way, then you are going to be totally out of your business, and any day you will be out, to be very frank. And that is a temporary profit. That is a temporary profit, whatever you are going to get it. And whatever you are going to really do, then you have to work hard with sincerity and properly, and then you can go ahead in life. That is my motto of life. Work like a worship, that is my motto. And if you are going to work like a worship, because I used to work for 18 hours a day. That was my motto of life. I never used to bother, I have to sleep, I have to do this thing or that thing. Because do it sincerely, and then see if your whatever your, wherever you are supplying, the people are satisfied with your things or not, whether your staff is satisfied, or if your staff is satisfied and they are looked after well, then they are going to really work for you. If they are not going to bother for your staff, then they are also not going to look after you at all. That is the main thing which really matters. And then whatever your clients are, the clients, you have to take care of your clients. If your clients are looked after well, then that's fine. Whatever we are exporting to all the countries, we are going to America, South America, Africa, everywhere we are there, Europe, but it is our quality which really matters. That is the main thing. I am the supplier to Walmart also, everywhere I am there. So, because why? Because our products are good. That is the main thing, is our quality is good. If you go to according to the quality and you are taking care of everything, you are going to go ahead in any part. It may be steel, it may be textiles, it may be anything. It is not a food products only. Sometimes the girls, they start doing the bakery at home, and then now you have so many privileges. In our times, they were not much perfect ovens are not there, nothing was there. Products were not there, availability was not there. In Ludhiana, nothing was available. So I used to make my own recipes and all. That was the main thing which really mattered in life, and really I have developed, because I just want to say here how one can develop it if you have passion. Because I learnt a small vanilla ice cream from Agriculture University in Ludhiana, and from there I developed about 40 flavors on my own. That was the thing I just want to tell you people. And 40 flavors, and the dean over there was a triple doctorate of ice creams. He was from Germany, from Switzerland and America. He was a triple doctorate. And he used to tell me, Mrs. Bector, how can you do this thing? I cannot imagine, how can you do this thing? I cannot make so many, how are you doing it? And he used to send his students to me to teach, tell me, teach them. So these are the things I used to feel happy over there. I used to feel happy, and happiness really makes you go ahead in life.
Wonderful. Such an inspirational story. I think the person who had a triple doctorate didn't know what it means to be an Indian, which is respect its diversity and flourish in the diversity, right? And that's why you had so many flavors of ice cream, and each of them appreciated.
He was an Indian.
He was an Indian, I see, okay.
I can still name his name, he's no more, Dr. S.C. Jain. Okay. He was really very good in it, and he used to say, I have no words to how much I can praise you, how much you have developed it. And I could not do anything wrong anywhere.
And I like the idea that you say that there's nothing that you can do by cutting corners, because your clients will pick on that. Yeah. And I really appreciate that. Gentlemen, I will come to you, but then since it's FICCI Flo, I'm going to go with the ladies first, and I would request you to have the patience and the understanding of why I would go with the ladies first. Thank you. So I'm going to go to the Dragon Slayer, right? How many titles have you got, Jeevanjyot ji? So many you called, I mean, if I look at the number, you called superhero, you called woman hero, you called Dragon Slayer, itne sare naam aapko diye gaye hain, simply because nobody expected you to, win with such a fabulous margin, one, and two, people who didn't expect to be defeated. So that is your political story. But then people in Amritsar, people in Punjab know you as Pad Woman also. अब मैं ज़्यादा नहीं बोलूँगी, क्योंकि आप अपनी कहानी अपनी ज़बानी बताइए.
So all this started, I mean the social work, it started in the year 95-96 when my dad started an NGO called She Society, with the only motive to provide free education to the deserving children from underprivileged sector. So my mom started a school under that NGO, and then I still remember I used to go there as a volunteer to teach the children there on weekends. And then, a few years later, when those children, when the girls especially, they reached class 4, 5 and 6, so I started noticing that, that embarrassment and that shame, जब उनको periods आते थे especially, and then their mothers were called to the school, और वो छुपते छुपाते बच्चे को लेके जाना, then I felt really bad, because मुझे लगा कि इसके लिए कुछ करना चाहिए, and that was the most hushed up topic. It still is, I must say that. So I started talking to those girls, और 2 साल 3 साल 4 साल, then I thought that I also spoke to the mothers. तो मुझे पता चला कि इस एक natural process के साथ बहुत सारे taboos जुड़े हुए हैं. then I thought that we should do something about that. We started a campaign called She Breaks the Bloody Taboo, and she was also the name of the NGO, and she here was also representing a woman who was aware now, you know. So I started visiting schools in and around Amritsar, and we started talking about the taboos. नहाना नहीं है, सिर नहीं धोना है, मंदिर नहीं जाना है, अचार नहीं छूना है. So we were addressing all those taboos, and बहुत सारा data हमने collect किया. बहुत सारी दिक्कतें आती थी, lot of challenges, because जहाँ जाना children used to sit, and when I used to start the topic, they used to sit like this, what is she talking about? And then you know something happened कि हमने सोचा था हम कुछ schools एक number particular visit करेंगे. 5,000 students को जिस दिन हम टच कर लेंगे, we used to get a form filled by them. जब वो number 5,000 हुआ, we started to read those forms, and you know I was so disappointed because most of the girls there had written that we do not have money to buy pads. So there were questions, आपको periods कब आए, you know, did you know before, you know, so उसके बाद what did you use, where were you when you had your first period. So most of the girls had written कि हमारे पास तो पैसे नहीं होते हैं pads लेने के लिए. And you know that was the time when I was too disappointed, and that was one biggest challenge कि अब क्या करूँ, क्योंकि मुझे लगा सिर्फ जाके lecture दे के वापस आ जाना is not the solution now. So I need to do something about this. And in the meantime, I was invited by Government of India to Delhi for a 3 days workshop on how to combat violence against women and girl child in India. So there I met a female from Pondicherry, and they had a self-help group, and they were making cloth pads. That was the first time I learnt about reusable sanitary pads. I thought, yeah, she might be of help to me. Then I went to Pondicherry, I signed up an MOU with them, and then I started promoting reusable sanitary pads, because I thought that was the only solution to the problem, you know, we faced during that campaign. And then that campaign got converted into a project called EcoShe, where we started promoting reusable sanitary pads, and also I had a 2 hours menstrual program of my own. So I visited jails all over Punjab, I visited some 500 school, and I still remember the day जब मैंने first program किया about the reusable sanitary pads, and when I asked the ladies sitting there, have you ever heard about a reusable sanitary pads, and they were you know, they were making faces like, how is that possible? But I'll again repeat the figures here, but when I told them that, do you know that the pads, we use the disposable ones, that one pad takes about 500 to 800 years to decompose. And if one lady generates about 125 to 150 kgs of sanitary waste throughout her life, so where are we? It's like leaving a legacy behind, you know. And then बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि आज बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जो reusable sanitary pads use कर रहे हैं and promote कर रहे हैं. And then I also had one press conference, and I still remember that day कि वो जो सारा मीडिया मेरे सामने बैठा हुआ था, they didn't have a question to ask, क्योंकि उनको भी लग रहा था कि ये कैसा टॉपिक है और इसके ऊपर हम कैसे बात करें, you know.
Yeah.
So after 1 year of that, luckily movie आ गई The Padman. तो Padman के एक दिन पहले से I received a call from जगबानी जलंधर, and they said, मैम Padman तो मूवी है, politicized भी होता है बहुत सारा जब आप movies बनाते हैं, तो why don't you come for an interview here, because we know that you have been working since years in this area. So I went there. मेरा एक बहुत लंबा, I still remember that was an hour's interview there, जिसमें बहुत सारे questions किए गए, और I was happy कि आज there is someone, a male asking me so many questions. So वो एक साल में उस movie ने इतनी awareness ला दी लोगों में, that people had pads in their hands and you know clicking selfies and movies and pictures. So I was asked a lot of questions, so that is how it all started. But then after that, then there was no looking back. उसके बाद बहुत सारे offers आते गए, बहुत सारे schools में, बहुत सारे colleges में मैंने ये 2 hours menstrual health program deliver किया, and I still love doing that. पर उसके बाद फिर this this politics happened, and it is all because of that work I am here on this platform as an MLA today.
How inspirational. I recently interviewed this person who was called the garbage man of Bombay. His name is Afroz Shah, और उन्होंने भी आपकी तरह शुरू किया. He went to Versova, which is a beach, and he just saw कि कूड़ा पड़ा हुआ है. And he said that he just picked up a garbage bag. He didn't know कि क्या करना है. या तो you keep waiting कि municipality आके उठाएगी कूड़ा, या फिर आप खुद कर लो. In our country, most of us, even, and he spoke about CSR. बहुत से लोग सोचते हैं कि चेक काट के दे दिया, they've done their civic duty. लेकिन आप भी ऐसे कर सकती थी. You could have also gone and just given the money and be done with it. But खुद काम करने वाले कम होते हैं. इंस्पिरेशनल स्पीचेस देने वाले बहुत मिल जाएंगे जो कहेंगे कि एनवायरनमेंट ये करो वो करो. दिस मैन ऑल्सो डिड एग्जैक्टली लाइक यू डिड जीवनज्योत जी. ही वेंट एंड ही डिड थिंग्स ऑन हिज ओन. ही स्टार्टेड taking garbage, putting it inside bags, and slowly it became a movement, and they cleaned out a beach, so much so that olive ridley turtles, which had disappeared 20 years ago from that habitat, came back to that habitat just because saaf ho gaya. So many times, I remember the first time I heard Prime Minister Modi from the Red Fort when he spoke about कि Swachh Bharat, and he says toilets की बात कर रहे थे. He's like, why does a Prime Minister need to speak about toilets, and वो भी लाल किले से. मतलब why are we telling the whole world कि हम लोग अपने toilet साफ नहीं रखते. But unless people like you, people like movers and shakers, unless we shame ourselves and then shame everybody else to keep our surroundings clean and change our mindsets, we won't be able to do it. Another big issue which Amritsar is facing and Punjab is facing is about drugs. I'm going to come to you too, sir, to talk about this. But before that, I want to ask you, your administration, Aam Aadmi Party, has said that they want to make Punjab a drug-free zone. And to save our youth, this thing has to be done on a war footing. It should have been done 5 years back. You have come, your party has come with a lot of hope that you will change the way things have been done in the earlier setups. So tell me, what new things are you doing, and how soon will Punjab be drug free?
Well, Smita, let me tell you one thing that I think everyone here knows, that my constituency is Amritsar East, and it has that village of widows, where there's a place where almost each family, they've lost their men to drugs. And जब मैंने अपना campaign start किया, like you said, तो when I was visiting the constituency, I was meeting people there. एक मुझे अभी भी इंसिडेंट याद है कि लोग एक ही बात करते थे, बस ड्रग्स ख़त्म कर देना, आपकी गवर्नमेंट आती है तो. My team is sitting here. I still remember the day. There was an old couple. We knocked at their door. हम door to door करते थे, तो उनकी आंखों में आंसू थे. So they wanted, especially the lady, she wanted to share something. लेकिन शायद मेरे साथ लोग थे तो वो डर रही थी. But then she said, she did tell us कि मेरा बच्चा, दोनों बच्चे, they were in government jobs, लेकिन अब दोनों नौकरियां छोड़ दी हुई हैं दोनों ने, because they are into drugs now. और हम इतने परेशान हैं दोनों, आप उसके लिए कुछ करना. I said for sure we'll do something about that. लेकिन ये कह के हम आगे जब आ गए तो वो जो बुज़ुर्ग जोड़ा था वो मेरे पीछे ही आ गया वहाँ पे. And then she said, she hugged me so tight and she started crying. So she said कि आप मेरे को ये प्रॉमिस करके जाओ कि जिस दिन आपकी सरकार बनती है आप मेरे बच्चों को ड्रग डी एडिक्शन सेंटर में वहाँ दाखिल करवा देंगे. एंड बिलीव मी, जिस दिन हम जीते, मैं जीतने के बाद अपने वापस ऑफिस में गई, 3 मदर्स इंक्लूडिंग दैट लेडी, वो अपने बच्चों को लेके, आई मीन द ग्रोन अप मैन, लड़के उनके जो हु वर ड्रग एडिक्ट्स, वो मेरे ऑफिस लेकर आ गई कि ये अब आपको दे दिए, इनको संभालो. and from the very first day we are doing this. जिस ड्रग डी एडिक्शन सेंटर में हमको जगह मिलती है, जहाँ से हमको सपोर्ट मिलती है, हम बच्चों को वहाँ भेजते हैं. अभी एक कल भी भेजा है मैंने. एंड देन यू मस्ट हैव सीन वन वीडियो, क्योंकि कुछ ना कुछ चलता रहता है. देयर वाज अ वीडियो ऑफ अ गर्ल यू नो एक्टिंग वियर्डली, और वो था कि शी इज़ एन एडिक्ट, उसने नशा किया हुआ है. यू नो आई विद द हेल्प ऑफ द पुलिस वी लोकेटेड हर, उसको पकड़ा वहाँ से और उसको हम ड्रग डी एडिक्शन सेंटर में खुद लेकर गई. But the kind of problems we face, we are ready to work on it, we are ready to extend our support, but the kind of problems we face are, जब हम बच्चे को लेके जाते हैं, we need the family support. Family वहाँ पे बच्चे को disown करने पे आ जाती है. Especially in this, the girl's case, we called the family, we said आप आ जाओ, हम आपको आने जाने का किराया दे देंगे, your stay will be taken care of. But believe me, they said हम नहीं आ सकते. एंड देन पुलिस ने हमें बहुत कोऑपरेट किया. आई कॉल्ड द कमिश्नर पुलिस, उनको मैंने रिक्वेस्ट किया कि मुझे एक लेडी कांस्टेबल प्लीज़ दे दीजिए. तो मैंने उस लेडी कांस्टेबल की हेल्प ली और उनको 10 डेज़ वहाँ पे ट्रीट करवाया. सो दीज आर द काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स वी फेस. वी डू वांट कि हम इसके लिए कुछ करें, बट एट द सेम टाइम आई ऑल्सो वांट टू टेल यू कि जिस दिन से हम लोग हमारी सरकार बनी, हमारी एक टीम है वो उस एरिया में जाती है और हमारे पास ऑलरेडी ड्रग एडिक्ट्स आइडेंटिफाइड हैं, नाम लिखे हुए हैं, हु वांट टू गेट ट्रीटमेंट. सो हमारे पास उनकी लिस्ट बनी हुई है. वी कीप काउंसलिंग देम. उनमें से टर्न बाय टर्न उनको हम सेंटर्स में भेज देते हैं. एंड देन द अदर थिंग इज़ प्रिवेंशन. वो कैसे है कि जो अभी बच्चे छोटे हैं, जो अभी ड्रग्स नहीं ले रहे हैं, उनको ये समझाना और उनको उनकी एनर्जी को चैनलाइज करना, चाहे वो स्पोर्ट्स के ज़रिए है या वो कोई और सेमिनार्स हैं, चाहे वो कोई टूर्नामेंट्स हैं, चाहे वो गेम्स हैं. एवरी संडे वेयर का एरिया स्पेशली हमारे टूर्नामेंट्स होते हैं, सो दैट वी कैन चैनलाइज देयर एनर्जी. पुलिस बहुत ज़्यादा एक्टिव रोल प्ले कर रही है और हमारी कुछ एक टास्क फोर्स, ड्रग टास्क फोर्सेस जो हैं वो बनाई गई हैं सीएम साहब की तरफ से. सो पुलिस इज़ वेरी एक्टिवली वर्किंग ऑन दैट. और जहाँ से भी रिकवरी होती है वहाँ पे उसी टाइम पे एफआईआर लॉन्च किया जाता है. और आगे क्या होता था कि ड्रग एडिक्ट को पुलिस स्टेशन लिया जाएगा, वेयर इज दैट्स नो पॉइंट यू नो. अब क्या होता है कि ड्रग एडिक्ट को उठाकर सेंटर में भेजा जाता है, एंड देन द फैमिली इज़ ऑल्सो टेकन केयर ऑफ. नाउ आई नो अ फैमिली जहाँ पे मदर अकेली है, बेटे को हमने कल ड्रग एडिक्शन सेंटर पे भेजा है. सो आई हैव टोल्ड माई टीम टू मेक श्योर कि उसकी अकेली मदर को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आए. सो दिस इज़ व्हाट वी आर डूइंग फॉर दिस.
Amazing. So I'm just hoping, Jeevanjyot ji, that the work that you're continuing doesn't get halted and it goes forward, because many times I've seen first time politicians जो हैं वो लग जाते हैं काम पे, but जो अटकलें आती हैं, रोड़े आते हैं, उससे दिल टूट जाता है. But because of the work that you have done with regard to sanitary pads, I'm sure this is a bigger challenge and a challenge which is not just in your area, it's state-wise.
I just wanted to add कि मेरे को 25 साल हो गए हैं doing this social work, and in spite of the fact I have 12A ATG FCRA, मैंने कभी CSR नहीं लिया है. I have my own self-sustainable model.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Since we are on the health issues, Colonel Saab, I'm going to ask you for a little more patience. I'm going to come to you, Dr. H P Singh. You head the non-invasive cardiology department at Fortis Escorts Hospital in Amritsar, and your expertise also extends to critical care in cardiology. So my question to you is about heart disease. And frankly, yesterday I had gone to Golden Temple and I did a darshan there, and when I was coming out and I was just looking, and this is not just to say about the people that I saw, but it's become, obesity has become a huge issue. And what I've heard is that you know, what I was going to ask you totally changed by something that has been striking my conscience for so much that I don't know why I have not focused on this, is that heart disease is striking 33 at a rate of 33% more Indians as compared to everybody else. And you know, even my correspondent here was joking and he said that ma'am हम लोग तो सब खाते हैं और डॉक्टर कहते हैं कि जब तक आपको फैटी लीवर नहीं है आप पंजाबी नहीं हो. So he says this is our nature, हम लोग खाते पीते लोग हैं. You know, this खाते पीते लोग in Punjabi families, I'm married to a Punjabi family, so I know this khate pite log is seen as a positive thing. But it's now killing us.
Correct.
It's killing Indians. And so I just need to know that India has become the chronic heart disease capital of the world. What a horrible title for a country which has so many alternative medicines, so many doctors we produce. Why is it, and how can we stop this?
So very, very genuine, you see, question. About Punjabis, it is well known that they eat too much. And for Amritsar, it is well known that adda Amritsar khanda hai te adda bananda hai. So this is a very well known fact here. So people love eating here, but eating healthy and eating non-healthy, that is what matters. So you can eat healthy food also and enjoy it. So but people, they don't know how to cook healthy food. So they need education for that. So the patient comes to me, I tell him that you need to reduce your weight. So khaan da na mainu kuch kyo. Oh na mana karyo. So they love desi ghee, they love the puris and parathas, everything.
And carbohydrate rich food.
Correct. Which now the concept is changing very fast, that although we are not very much concerned about fats, but we think sugar and salt, they are two white poisons for us. They should be avoided. And secondly, as Smita is told, the carbohydrates, the Indian diet, basically 70% is carbohydrates. We should have 1 gram per kg body weight of proteins per day, which we don't go near to that even. So if a person is weighing about 70 kgs, so the person should have 70 grams of proteins per day in the diet. So we are nowhere close to that. So if I tell my patients that stop eating chapati, so they said, then what is to be taken? Main jiyanga kis tarah? So this is very strange. If chapati is not everything, then I quote them one thing very, very interesting. Okay, you have seen the elephant. He is a pure vegetarian and the strongest animal on the earth. He is a pure vegetarian. वो तो रोटी नहीं खाता, ना ही वो मांस खाता, but pure vegetarian and very strong animal. So I think we need to you see, educate people. That is what is more important.
But are people, the reason I'm saying it happens, like as soon as I landed, Himani was like, shall we order a salad? And I was like, Amritsar पहुंची हूँ, कुलचे नहीं खाऊंगी मैं. She very kindly ordered salad and kulcha. But of course I went for the kulcha and I paid the price for it. I think one visit to Amritsar takes me about 3 weeks of penance after that. Right. I've just noticed. So those of you who live in this city, I don't know how you deal with it, because there's this constant bombardment of delicious food that comes your way. And when I say delicious, I just mean मक्खन मार के. आप 70 ग्राम of protein की बात करें, यहाँ पे तो 70 grams of butter है हर meal में.
Correct. So that is not good. That is not good. Right. So people say, they quote that our elders used to take a lot of ghee. There was no problem. But they don't understand that they were doing hard work.
Yeah.
So we are not doing anything.
It's the only language, sir, yes. Pardon me to say this, is the only language where makhna is a term of endearment. Yeah. That, you know. So, to come back to a more serious note, because it's a cause of worry and we have to we have to correct ourselves. One is awareness, which you were saying. 2, I think, would be that they should get checkups done.
Yes.
Please don't think that कि मेरे माँ बाप को कोई health issues नहीं थे, कोई heart attack नहीं, या मेरे को कुछ नहीं होना. वो जो मक्खन आप जो खाते आए हो, घी जो खाते आए हो, उससे होगा. Now, just to give you a small thing, sir, a study which says that the reason for this 33% higher rate of heart attacks is supposed to be imbalanced diet, which we discussed, stress, lack of exercise, smoking and alcohol use. So, एक करके, if you could tell me first stress के बारे में.
Yes, you are right. Stress is taking a lot of toll, and people are under a lot of stress because of so many reasons. And one important reason is the drug addiction. And I have seen personally in my clinic, the ladies, they come from the villages, and the moment you talk to them for a few minutes, they start weeping. So if you ask them that what happened, so she will tell the story that this happened, and then ultimately then said, मेरा एक मुंडा सीगा, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਵੇਚ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਭੇਜ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ. So that is the biggest problem in coming days, which is coming to Punjab, is the children are not here and only the parents are left. So there is nobody to take care of them. The loneliness is going to kill Punjabis. That we should understand. And if you want that your children should not go out, of course, then the government should create, you see, the jobs and to how to engage them, to create good atmosphere here. The things are changing, but I think in a very slow manner. But I think we are to see the worst. I very strongly believe that we are just to see the worst. This is just the beginning, and this loneliness is going to increase.
Right. So mechanisms have to be developed by community leaders, by elders to cope with this loneliness factor, to cope with stress busting systems that should be put into place so that it doesn't become a physiological problem, this psychological problem. Sir, lack of exercise, अगर डॉक्टर साहब अगर ये आप बता दें, क्योंकि ये जो एवरी डे कि हम सारा दिन काम करके आए उसके बाद सोफे पे बैठ के नेटफ्लिक्स देख के खाना ऑर्डर किया, अब तो खाना बनता भी नहीं है, खाना ऑर्डर किया एंड जस्ट काउच पोटैटोज, सच में पोटैटोज.
You see, when COVID came, so we learned so many things from COVID, but we being human beings, we are very prone to, you see, just take these things out of our mind. We started cycling, we started exercise programs, everything we started. But moment the COVID is over, everything is gone. So I think we need to change. We need to change our attitude and exercise for everybody. Everybody, I'll say just 45 minutes in 24 hours. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. 45 minutes in 24 hours. Whatever exercise you want to do, whatever. You want to do cycling, do cycling. You want to just walk. You want to do yoga. But do something. And don't go for small distances on your motorbikes, on your vehicles, and use stairs in place of this lift, and all these small things. But then attitude has to change. Amritsar, the late night parties, and that our new generation has started, which you see, it's surprising, and I see every once a week, though I get one youngster hitting the car on this airport road in the bumper, and totally drunk. They come home at 2:33 in the morning. So then they get up at 10, 11 in the morning. So this culture, we parents also need to understand. We parents also need to educate our people, our children. We need to teach them.
डॉक्टर साहब एक और बात थी which I discussed with some people in the Bombay film industry, because there was this trend that, you know, what you were saying कि 45-minute exercise करना ज़रूरी है. Of course, people from the film industry are very conscious about their physical appearance. They cannot, तोंद नहीं हो सकती उनकी जैसे the luxury of other jobs. So, you know, they are constantly taking medication to keep their weight in check, or they are abusing drugs to be slim. The other thing is about exercise. क्योंकि उन्होंने क्या किया हुआ है, many of them have fixed the time with say a gym trainer कि हम सुबह जाएंगे, हमको ट्रेनर के साथ फिक्स किया हुआ है. अब वो रात को पार्टी करेंगे 2 बजे रात तक, उसके बाद क्योंकि पैसे दिए हुए हैं पहले से ट्रेनर को, वो सुबह 6:30 बजे जिम चले जाते हैं. You've only slept 4 hours. Yes. And then are those sudden heart attacks. So please tell us about the dangers of that.
Your sleep deprivation, yes, that is very correct, is very important for the cardiac ailments. And proper sleep, minimum 6 hours. Everybody should sleep. Minimum 6 hours. If you can sleep up to 7 hours, I don't mind. But minimum 6 hours and very sound sleep you should have. And that will come only if your body is tired. if your body is not tired, थकी हुई नहीं है exercise के बाद, so then probably you will not get proper sleep. So there are so many methods also. Now you can go to the net and find out what to do if you are sleep deprived. So sleep for 6 to 8 hours is very important, and that is Smita is very right, and I totally agree with her.
So the last point that I want to come to you is about alcohol abuse. Tobacco, तो I think everybody knows that chewing tobacco, doing drugs, ये तो हम बात कर चुके हैं. Alcohol abuse, you know, consumption of alcohol over the past I would say 30 years or 40 years is considered fashionable. There was a time our parents' generation छुप के पीते थे, लोग openly नहीं पीते थे, you know, and then slowly it got out of that closet and everybody said this is a great thing, अगर पीते हो तो छुप के मत पियो, खुलेआम पियो, don't be shy of it, it's not something wrong. And then people started drinking, but then drinking openly just meant that drinking to get drunk, and then drinking and driving, and then drinking and eating high carb food, drinking and becoming violent and abusive. It resulted in a whole host of things which our society is now grappling with, and cardiac issues is one of them. So could you tell me, sir, how do we educate our people that one, don't drink and drive, two, you're going to kill yourself one way or the other, either by banging your car as you said, or because of your heart?
So you see, there was a time when we also used to say that if you want to take alcohol, you can take wine, you can take 60 ml of alcohol. But let me tell you, today we have many studies to tell that alcohol is not at all useful for heart, not at all useful, zero. So don't take this into your mind that one pack of alcohol, the whiskey is better, and you can take red wine, that is good for heart. No, the studies have very, very clearly told that whatever alcohol you take, that is harmful for the body. That is harmful. So that fact is absolutely clear now. There is no debate about it.
Do you add alcohol in your cakes, ma'am? Is that the reason it's so tasty?
Not a total vegetarian.
Okay, all right. I'm going to come to you, Colonel Sahab, because इसलिए नहीं आपके पास आ रही कि alcohol की बात हुई तो फौजी के पास में गई. So it's not because of that, but you know, I want to come to you and ask you this question about the war memorial that you have worked for in Amritsar. We were discussing this backstage that, you know, the youth of Punjab, which is the bulk of our fighting force, of our forge. If in Punjab our youth are getting into drugs, what we are talking about is that the forces don't become an option. Yes, there is something like a quota system now that itne log hi ja sakte hain from a state, and yet we have the tradition, as your own son is also in the forge. So tell me, how concerned are you as an ex-serviceman about the youth of this state? Do you think that joining the services, joining the army, joining the air force, joining the navy, joining the paramilitary forces will still be something which is going to go down generations like in other Sikh families?
Thank you, ma'am. Firstly, Smita ma'am doing a yeoman service in journalism today. It's a big big departure from the traditional journalism. I belong to a family. My father was a journalist who was looking after entire gamut of newspapers, of vernacular newspapers, and Tribune in Punjab.
Yes, sir.
And we lost him in terrorism because of that, because he had a national approach. Notwithstanding, about the army, when I joined, I am a product of this university. 1976 I joined Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. So when I reached there, it was your course-mates from all over the country. And you suddenly realize I am from Gurdaspur basically. So when I land up there amongst the national collection of the cream, it was a flight of fantasy. Where is Gurdaspur and where am I? So that was a sense of realization and pride for me. And army is an institution. It teaches you. It's a learning ground. How to eat, how to exercise, how to look after people, mezbani kaise karni hai, how to be a guest, how to behave like a guest, when to drink, when not to drink, when to get up and when to sleep. This army teaches you ab initio from the day one. No other organization does this in the world, in the country. So I'm coming back to because ma'am asked quite a few questions in one question. So I then subsequently, I'm from the cavalry, the tanks, and my son is now in my regiment doing the same thing, but I did about 47 years back. And then having traveled all over the country, almost east, west, and north, then Punjab, West Bengal, Gujarat, Maharashtra, almost everything, Rajasthan.
Manipur also.
Manipur was my last place posting where I left voluntarily because of some administrative reasons. My career was not progressing, so I chose not to go as a passenger and have a new beginning and another a different life altogether. So which I subsequently I come to you on that. And then I've joined I got back to Gujarat at Ahmedabad, worked with a multinational company. Worked for 1 year. I brought laurels to them, not that I'm blowing my trumpet. For some reason I had to leave because my daughter met with an accident, so I came back to Punjab. And then there was a vacancy in Sainik Welfare Department. I joined when the previous tenure of Captain Amrinder Singh's government was there and he was a minister. So I chose to look after our ex-servicemen fraternity because they needed a lot of help in terms of administration not coming up to their needs. The brawls taking place, people were, I mean, these ex-servicemen are only remembered, or the Fauj is remembered when there is a war. Otherwise, their last priority, like ma'am did to me today.
Apologies.
Notwithstanding.
So the reason also, sir, if I may interrupt, is because you did say you're from the armored corps. तो मैं सोच रही थी कि घंटे-घंटे टैंक के अंदर बैठे रहते हैं और बारूद नहीं फेंकते because you have to wait for your turn.
No, I was just in the
right, sir.
Just mentoring. So then I was the Punjab government and looked after people. I've started education system within the department. There's still institution running. They are affiliated with Punjab Technical University and technical education. And the girls who are not going beyond +2 in villages. So we tied up with Punjab Technical University and got the girls their fees exempted. Without fee, they did their PGA, they did their MSc and beyond that also. And now we are running in most of the districts, there are schools, and most of the students are girls, and they are Fauji's daughters. So that was one part. And other thing was, the Faujis have a lot of problems when they come from the army. They have a hesitation not to walk up to the administration because they are disciplined a lot. And despite the fact that आपका काम पहल के आधार पे करेंगे लेकिन होता नहीं. And cases where I shouldn't be saying this, ever since this Halka in charge system has come to Punjab, our steel frame of the country, that is the bureaucracy, is buckled. So ex-servicemen suffering, FIR not registered, speaking to SSPs, they would listen to the MLA in charge. I'm talking about the previous governments, because I've served for 17.5 years with the administration.
If I may just come back about the sword arm of India, which is the Punjabi soldier. Is it still a priority to join the forces as far as the Punjabi soldiers, Punjabi youth is concerned?
Firstly, the vacancies are very less. It is pro rata. you are 2% population and you get 2% recruitment in the armed forces.
What about the Agnipath scheme, the Agniveers? Do you think?
We've already, the army has laid out, I mean, not the army, the ex-service fraternity, that is our organization at the national level, they said no, it is not going to work. It will kill the traditions and the spirit, the core of the organization, because 4 years, the boy is neither here nor that side.
So it's no longer a tradition among Punjabi families to send you, if you were in the services, to send your sons into the forge?
No, ma'am. Firstly,
they send your son to Canada, send your daughter to Canada.
Now, when I meet, I interact with the ex-service fraternity a lot in across Punjab. So whosoever I meet, I say, what are children doing? Because that's what Fauji's, when we meet, the first thing we ask. He says he's in Canada and so
Australia.
90% this is the answer in Punjab.
Right.
So which I was telling the outside that, and that is after +2. So intellectual level of the state, as I was telling Dr. Saab, is going to be zero, zilch after 10 years, because nobody is going beyond
We'll
+2.
hope it doesn't happen. Being in a campus where we are shooting this, thank you very much to the university for allowing us to use this place. It is very disheartening to hear it, but hopefully things will improve. The other question I have, the last question before we head to the second panel, the question I want to ask you, Colonel Saab, is that you know, you've served in different parts of the country, but you live in Punjab. This program is being shot in Punjab, which is on the Western Front, and Punjab has always seen action on every war that we have been forced to fight. I'm saying this because the wars were waged on India. So the current developments which are happening in Pakistan, does that worry you in the sense of living in Punjab, what it means like for a frontier state?
Ma'am, it's very important that our neighbors have to be peaceful. It's not good for us either. A peaceful neighbor is very important. So what is happening in Pakistan, it is now is their own problem. But certainly our country, what we hear, what is going on, that they are watching it, they are observing it, and everybody advocates that your neighbor must be in peace, and only then you will be remain in peace as well. We being a frontier state, it matters more to us.
Right.
It matters more to us. But notwithstanding, we as the country, our security forces, we are ready in every way to safeguard our frontiers.
Thank you, Colonel Saab. And of course, but before we end, I just have a couple of seconds. In half a minute, if you could tell me about your father as a journalist, because I as a journalist want to hear that story. So if you could quickly tell me, I'm sorry that such a sensitive topic, but I'm asking you because of time constraint to tell me what happened with your father, you know, because many of us talk about martyrdom of our soldiers, but there are journalists also who have given up their lives in telling stories which were necessary for our country, but it led to their death.
But he was also from the army. He left and he picked up this profession, and he was reporting from Gurdaspur.
His name, please.
Dr Jagjit Singh. And there were 3 people that time who lost one after the others. He was also, the Jagbani had just come up in Punjabi, and he was the founder journalist of that newspaper. He had half a page editorial on states politics and Ajit, of course, and he also wrote in Urdu Hind Samachar. So all vernaculars of with him. I used to get 30 newspapers in the morning in the house from there to read. So he when this Punjab problem started off, I was a captain at that time
in the 80s.
That's right. So he was writing exactly what was happening on ground, and which was objected to. So when the people who mattered at that time, who were leading this movement, because this movement had gone astray, the terrorists at that time, the militants, they were killing each other amongst themselves also. They had groups of their own. They were taking ransom 3 attacks at my house in Amritsar, my grandfather, and ma'am knows we are from the same constituency. And in Gurdaspur, after 5 o'clock, I was on leave. You couldn't go to your home. You have to either lock yourself inside or this. People were looting with artificial guns and toy guns. And when they were exposed, in winter you have a wraparound shawl. There used to be toy guns, and this is what happened across the villages. And so it carried on. My father kept on writing. He was told not to write what you see, so he carried on. So one fine day, when he was going from Gurdaspur after reporting, he did reporting when there was no mobiles, there was no telephones. Handwritten posts used to come by last bus leaving Gurdaspur, or a boy in the last train from there. So that is the kind of reporting he did. And he did that, and then he was going. The 2 boys chased him, and they shot him. And purposelessly, just to claim next day that I have shot so and so, I have shot so and so. So this was the most publicity. This thing, his rank amongst the terrorists was going up this way.
Okay.
So they shot ragis, they shot politicians, they shot journalists. Another one from Hoshiarpur, Dr H. Singh, and likewise, they were staying in the tubals at night, and if they caught, they would name a people. They were also named after that,
right,
abetting to terrorism.
Right.
So it was gone bad from
state.
worse, and
Right.
this is how it came to its natural collapse.
For viewers and listeners, as I wrap up this edition, I just want you to reflect about the state of Punjab where I'm shooting this episode. This is a place which has given the bravest of the brave for this country, in the service of this country, in many ways, not just for the armed forces, but in their own ways. And this is a state which has seen so much of conflict, so much of bloodshed in the past. It's something that nobody in this country wants all over again. Whether it is people sitting abroad, whether it is people sitting in countries inimical to India's interests, nobody will stand for this state to go to ruin. Every single citizen of this country, of this state, will stand up in defense of the country and the state. To all my guests, thank you so much for being part of this panel. Thank you for watching this edition of ANI Podcast with Smita Prakash. Hope you feel inspired to do something memorable just like these achievers today whom we spoke to. Thanks for watching or listening. Do like or subscribe on whichever channel you have seen this or heard this. Namaste. Jai Hind. Click here to watch the previous episodes.